All right, so the first mystery we're going to talk about is Havens Hill, which Havens Hill is a retreat that Etzel Ford, son of Henry Ford, and his wife Eleanor had constructed in 1923. The lodge was the main focal point of the retreat. Many cool spots, like a swimming pool, many tennis courts, a motorized toboggan run, and very beautiful gardens and views. The place was very nice, so Etzel also had a lot of famous people from the time come visit, like Charles Lindbergh and Thomas Edison. So there were also a few other spots on this retreat besides the lodge. We also have a 15,000 square foot barn housing sheep and cows, which was huge. There's pictures on the screen right now, but this thing was big. It was bigger than the lodge itself. The lodge was 6,900 square feet, and this was over twice that size. There was also a carriage house that turned into more of a playhouse for the kids, and then the gatehouse, which was home to the head of security, who was also the farm administrator. After Etzel's unexpected death in 1943, at the young age of 49, Eleanor sold the property hoping it would be used as part of her park project. The property would be used as a conference center for a while until it was closed in 1980. Then, after being dormant for 19 years, in 1999, it was burned down by teen vandals exploring it. The teens were never caught, so it was never found out if it was done with ill intent or not. The fire destroyed pretty much everything, leaving only the fireplace and chimney. And then there was also some foundations of rooms still around. After the fire, there were stone markings of where rooms used to be placed on the ground. Some of the rooms that are laying around: guest bedroom, the hall gallery. These are just a few. Another guest bedroom, children's bedroom, another children's bedroom, another child's bedroom. There's three right there, three right next to each other. The barn and stable were around for a very long time. They were never affected by the fire. But in 2008, it was taken down to the ground by heavy winds. The barn was destroyed by winds, but in the early 2010s, the photo that you're seeing on screen was, I believe, taken in 2012. So at least by 2012, reconstruction on the walls of the barn had begun, and now it's fully finished. It's been either repainted or they just redid the whole barn. It has finished reconstruction sometime in between 2012 and 2024 when I saw it. But there was only one article I really saw talking about the reconstruction of the barn, so there's not much information on it. But I assume probably sometime in the 2010s it was probably finished. And today, if you want to see Etzel Ford's Lodge for yourself, you can see it at Highland Recreation Area. All right, our next mystery is about the legend of Dunn's Tomb, which is one of the more popular spooky tales in Michigan. The tomb is a mausoleum found in the Lakeville Cemetery. Inside the tomb lay the bodies of James and Elizabeth Dunn, who ran a local sawmill in the 1890s. James died in 1930, and then his wife passed away over 20 years later in 1952. There are a few urban legends that go to this story, so my brother and I decided to debunk them while we were there. Well, there's a few urban legends, but the first legend: many years ago, a teenage boy and girl were dared to spend the night at the tomb. To prove their courage, they agreed. So one night, a friend who owned a black car dropped them off at a mausoleum and left, agreeing to pick them up the next morning. When the friend in the black car came back the next morning, he discovered the bodies of his two friends who died under mysterious unknown circumstances. So nowadays, if you drive a black car to the cemetery, get out and put your hands on Dunn's tomb. Two smoky apparitions will appear and attempt to approach your car. This one got debunked. Me and Carson did this and nothing happened. The next legend, this one's a little shorter. A man who paid a visit to the tomb, possibly a friend or family member paying respects, somehow got locked inside. Stuck inside overnight, he panicked, went crazy, and killed himself. Since then, anyone who dares to even touch the mausoleum will return to their vehicle and will find mysterious handprints all over it. For the second legend, we did the same thing. I walked around the whole car. My car's pretty dirty, but I didn't really see anything, so that one got debunked as well. 0 for 2 on the legends, unfortunately. The final and third one that I'm going to read: an axe-wielding serial killer would slaughter his victims and store the bodies inside Dunn's tomb. This one we'll never really know because the Dunn's tomb is sealed now. This third legend is we couldn't really debunk this one because we can't go inside the tomb, so there's no way of us really seeing if there are dead bodies in there. Obviously, I don't really believe these stories are true. There was actually another story that I heard that was very similar to the first story, but this version of the story goes: a group of teenagers went to the Lakeville Cemetery, and then they went inside Dunn's tomb. One of the girls ended up getting trapped in there, locked in there by her friends, and when they came back the next morning, they found her dead and scratch marks all along the tomb. She had clawed her fingers down to the bone, trying to claw her way out. So very similar to the other one. This one, the group of friends seemed a lot more mean in this story than the other one. Yeah, so that's the urban legends that go along with this Dunn's Tomb mystery. All right, so the third and final mystery we're going to be talking about is the haunting of Scripps Road and the Mansion. Scripps Road is a long dirt road in Lake Orion, Michigan. Scripps Road was named after William E. Scripps, founder of Detroit radio station WWJ. His father, James, was the founder of Detroit News. In 1916, William bought 3,000 acres of farmland and built his mansion on Scripps Road in 1927. Scripps employed many farmhands and servants to help with the chores. All of them lived on the property during the Depression years. The story started to float around after the passing of one of the servants, a cook named Minnie, and the story was that her spirit was still around. After Scripps died in 1952, much of the farmland was auctioned off. A shopping village was built in its place, consisting of restaurants, a gazebo, many shops, stores, a church, and banquet halls. Some of the supposedly urban legends that have happened to people. Employees of some of these establishments have claimed to experience some sort of paranormal occurrences. A restaurant worker was locked in a cellar, unable to open the door. When his pounding and screams were heard, someone came down and easily opened the door. Not just that, but an apparition. A white figure has been seen by shoppers floating through the mansion grounds and all around the shopping area. Some believe it's the ghost of Mrs. Scripps, others believe it's the cook Minnie, and a few feel it's Mr. Scripps. A couple other stories that go along with it. Other white figures have been blamed for following vehicles that drove down Scripps Road at night. That particular dirt road has now acquired a reputation of being haunted. This is where me and my brother went. We were trying to, this was the story we had heard, get white apparitions to show up while we were driving down Scripps Road. We kind of drove down Scripps Road. It kind of waited around a little bit, and nothing happened, of course, because these are all just urban legends at the end of the day. Last one. One time, an upholstery worker arrived at the mansion gates and honked his horn, needing to get to his work. A strange figure, draped in a monk's robe, appeared, shaking his fist at the man, running towards the vehicle, then disappearing. There are plenty of other tales that have been related by passerby, visitors, shoppers, and curiosity seekers. But the mansion is located at 1840 West Scripps Road in Lake Orion. All right, that's all three stories. The first one, Havens Hill Lodge, it's been over 20 years, and there's still nothing, so this mystery will most likely never be solved. That's the only one that's confirmed to be true, that the lodge was set on fire. The other ones are all just stories at the end of the day. You can believe them or you don't have to believe them. I just find them interesting, but yeah, that's pretty much it.